Welcome to the 60 Plus Podcast.
I'm Janet.
I'm Joe. How are you, Janet?
Okay. I'm good.
Are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Okay. I'm glad you said it that way. I was testing you.
Were you testing me?
Yeah.
Okay, did I pass the test?
You did.
Very
With
good.
Flying colors.
I'm very used to that.
Yeah. You know what other test you can do?
What's that?
A genetic test.
For what?
To test your genetics.
To test my genetics.
Yeah.
My genes.
Yeah, because people always say, oh, health is always related to your genes. It's all in the genes.
So people do say that.
Mm-hmm.
But
And they're like, I can do anything I want because I got good genes.
Right. Except.
And we're not talking about the kinds that you put on your legs. Like not jeans
pants.
with a G.
Jeans with a G, not with a J.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, did you call them jeans? The pants?
That's a really good question. I don't know.
We called them dungarees.
No, gosh, you are much older than I am, aren't you? Dungarees.
Actually, no, I have a friend who's younger than you who also called them dungarees. We just had this conversation last week.
Actually, you would just get like a pair of Levi's.
Oh no, we didn't have those fancy jeans, those fancy dungarees.
You could get those at the the Army and Navy store.
We didn't have an Army Navy store.
Oh, I'm just saying.
We had the discount stores and got the off-brand. If we were lucky, we got Lee jeans.
Lee, oh yeah, I remember Lee.
We aspired to Levi's.
Lee went after Levi's.
I think Lee is more popular than Southwest.
Oh, are they?
I think so.
Well, I am a Southern girl, right?
No, you're not.
South of New York.
Okay, define. You have a different definition of self than I do. We've gotten way off topic.
Well, we're still talking about genes.
We are. Okay, so
but we got to revert back to what this whole episode is about, which is a Mythbuster.
So Gene Shalit and Gene Stapleton?
No. What? Get out of town.
I'm just thinking of other kinds of genes.
Don't leave. We're recording a podcast. The myth is that everybody says, oh, health, it's all genes. Well, that's just not true.
Not according to Dr. Luigi Fontana.
No, Dr. Luigi Fontana, who is a longevity expert, he basically says research has confirmed through other credible sources that
not
really...
that Dr. Fontana is not credible.
I said other. That really it only makes up about 25% of your longevity.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, there's one article that says 25% of the variation in human lifespan is determined by genetics, and that more is about your lifestyle. And as a matter of fact, scientists think that for the first 7 or 8 decades, in your 70s, 80s, lifestyle is stronger determinant of health and lifespan than genetics. Then your good genetics kick in after that. So really, it's more about, when we're going to talk about these 7 habits to live a longer, healthier life, according to this research that we've done.
I think Dr. Fontana did the research. We're just kind of reporting on them.
Right, we're not taking credit for poor Dr.
We've had double-blind studies going for the last 20 years.
Well, no, that's not what I meant. We have more than just the one article here.
Okay.
And it was interesting because I was kind of piecing it all together in my research, Joe.
Oh, your research.
Yes. And did you know that cardiovascular disease remains the leading cause of death worldwide?
I think I did know that even before you did your research.
Really?
Yes. I think I did know that.
I did not know that.
Okay.
Really. I'm not sure what I thought it was. So if you think about it, cardiovascular disease, that's a lot of people do also worry that that's genetic, right? It's like, oh, my father died from a heart attack when he was 50, that means I might. No, according to this, it's more about what was his lifestyle like versus your lifestyle. Now, as you get older, maybe some of those genetics will kick in, but initially, according to this research that we've done, it's more about your lifestyle, and we're going to talk about those habits.
Lifestyle and environmental factors.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the 7 habits?
Let's
of
talk.
highly effective people?
No, that's a different show. We're going to talk about 7 habits to live a longer, healthier life, which doesn't include this idea of genetics, because only 25% of the probability of living a longer life is due to genetics.
And you really can't do anything about your genes anyway.
No, I guess not.
Well, I mean, someday I think maybe you'll be able to.
Yes,
But
right.
our gene options are limited to Levi's or
I
Lee.
mean, you can do tests to see what kind of genes that you have that might lead to something going down the road.
Sure.
But that's all.
Do you want to do that?
I don't know. Do I want to know?
I don't know. I don't.
And would that change things? I mean, would you live differently if you knew? Maybe you're going to live differently based on what we're talking about today.
Okay.
If you knew that you had that much control over your health span,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't just, hey, I've got great genes, I don't have to worry about what I do, would you do something differently? Okay.
Maybe.
That's the idea here.
Well, just do it anyway, regardless of what your genes are.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's the whole point.
What are the 7 habits?
Well, the first one, and it's not like this is stuff we haven't talked about before, but I think it's a nice summary to try to keep you out of that risk category. So one is monitoring your waist size and keeping it in check.
Okay. Now, Dr. Fontana says that for women, it's good to keep it under 31 and a half inches.
I know, isn't that crazy?
And for men, it's less than 37 inches. Where do you think that measurement should be?
It's your waistline.
Is it like at your belt?
Yes, at your belly button.
Oh, good.
So what the theory is here is that every inch of your waistline means an accumulation of belly fat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the worst type of body fat, right, in terms of health, because it promotes inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that inflammation is a major factor for aging, cancer, cardiovascular disease, and other chronic diseases.
Mm-hmm.
So that fat triggers insulin resistance and metabolic abnormalities, he adds. So
it's not just your waist size, though. You should monitor your weight as well and make
but
sure you.
I thought this was interesting that every centimeter you lose, you are reducing the factors, you're reducing the risk factors. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool. Again, we have more control than we realize, and that some of these changes, they're not significant. They can be just minor
Mm-hmm.
changes we're going to see throughout this episode, that these small changes can have huge positive effects.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
So number 2.
People will say, "Oh, just eat that in moderation."
Yeah, I heard that this morning.
Did you?
So
About
my
what?
doctor says just everything in moderation.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a rule of thumb that's easy to follow.
Right.
But Dr. Fontana says, well, it's not really true.
No.
He says having a couple of cigarettes a day be okay. Well, that's moderation, but it's obviously not a good thing.
Right. And this is for maximum longevity. So he's saying remove the junk food, remove the ultra processed food.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's like made in a factory, is processed. Now, some foods are more processed than others.
Correct.
Refined grains, not good. Sugary drinks,
Whole grains
not good.
Whole grains are
yes.
good.
Yeah. So there's really no moderation for those foods. They're just like cut them out of your diet, period.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This one, I don't know, would be hard to do.
Wait. Let's get back to that one for a second.
Okay.
Because I have a weakness.
Oh.
2 weaknesses.
Just one?
Two weaknesses for junk food.
I don't think I have enough time to talk about all my weaknesses. No, I'm kidding.
Ice cream?
Well, now you can make your own ice
I do
cream, and you
sometimes.
can make your own ice cream with really good quality ingredients.
Mhm.
And then you don't have all those additives and gums and stuff that they put in.
Yeah, I don't eat junky ice cream.
Right.
If I'm going to have ice cream,
Yeah.
it's going to be good ice cream.
Right.
And I do make my own ice cream sometimes. It's really good.
Yeah.
But,
So you
yeah.
can limit the amount of sugar. You can limit
Sure.
you can use organic products.
The other weakness, potato chips.
Okay. Well, you can
Yeah.
make those too.
Those are vegetables.
You can make those too.
You can. Have you ever done it? Have you?
No.
I have. I have.
It's funny. I don't eat potato chips very often, but man, when I get a craving for
Mhm.
potato chip, I'm
Mhm.
just like, give me that bag.
Yep.
So again, I mean, if you're doing that every day,
No.
once a week, twice a week, whatever, every once in a while, okay, I wouldn't worry so much. But
I think you know this,
what?
but for Father's Day, my kids sent me 5 pints of really
Yeah, I
high-end,
thought I was going to get
delicious
one of
ice
those. I
cream.
never saw it. I don't, what happened to
They're
the
gone.
peanut butter
They're gone.
chocolate?
No,
What?
no, they're not. They're really
Is
not.
the peanut butter chocolate one still around?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, that's what I'm eyeing for.
I think no, it's salted peanut butter. It's
Perfect.
it's
That's
not peanut
even
butter, it's chocolate.
better.
Yeah.
All
Uh,
right.
uh, the cookie dough one is my favorite.
Yeah, no, I
Mm,
love that peanut butter
yeah.
chocolate combo. But
Okay.
anyway, we move on.
We move on.
By the way, both peanut butter and chocolate are actually good foods to eat.
You got your peanut butter in my chocolate. You got your chocolate in my
My
peanut
peanut
butter.
butter. Reese's. Okay. So here's the next one. Eat beans every day.
I eat beans quite frequent. I wouldn't say every day, but quite
No,
frequently.
but that's the Mediterranean diet.
Hmm.
Along with beans, eating vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, fruits, low fat yogurt, fish 2 to 3 times a week,
Hmm.
small portions of cheese and a few eggs once or twice a week. Meats or sweets should only be eaten occasionally. Hmm.
That's the ice cream thing. That's a
Yes,
sweet.
that is a sweet. He also says try to buy organic when you can, produce,
But if you
because of the
can't,
pesticides.
but if you can't, it's
Right.
still better to have lots of fruits and vegetables.
Right. Because he's like, eat as many vegetables, whole grains, and beans as you can,
Hmm.
even if they're not organic. And he, I guess, gets all his vitamins from high quality food.
Yeah,
He doesn't
no
take
supplements. He
supplements.
in the one of the articles that we read, it said when he lived in the United States, I don't know where he lives now.
Mm.
He did take a vitamin D supplement in the winter
Yeah.
because apparently he wasn't getting as much sunlight, and sunlight creates vitamin D.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Your turn.
Oh, we're taking turns. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
nice to take turns.
exercise is the wonder drug, according
The
to him.
wonder drug. I
It
love
is.
that idea of actually positioning it as a wonder drug because
Hmm.
we do all like to take drugs, don't we? No, I mean, in terms of our culture, we're very
That
pharmaceutical.
explains a
People want to,
lot, Janet.
no, people want to take, pharmaceuticals. They want to give me a pill and I'll be okay. No, I don't want to change my diet. Just give me a pill.
Or a
Um,
shot.
yeah,
People are doing a shot now
yeah,
for weight control.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You're looking
So
at me like you hadn't
I
heard
don't
about
want to
this.
change my lifestyle. All right. So, okay. So this again, maybe the Mythbuster here is that you don't have to get on drugs to correct some of these issues, right? Maybe
Correct.
lifestyle change
Hmm.
is really at least give it a try, right?
So exercise
Exercise.
reduces the bad cholesterol, LDL,
Yep.
and increases the good cholesterol.
Right. Back to that cardiovascular disease.
Hmm.
Exercise, great every day if you can. Shorter bouts spread throughout the day can still be really beneficial. Doesn't have to be massive, like I'm going to climb a mountain today, which I found really
You
interesting.
know what I say? I'm going to climb a mountain tomorrow. I always say that.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow
So,
never comes.
well, Joe, I don't know what to tell you about that, but I was going to say in one article that I was reading in my research.
Janet laughs when she says her research because I did the research. She's just reading the articles.
Yes, that's true. This one article said even just increasing from 17 minutes to 30 minutes every day is like huge positive effects.
Sure.
So it doesn't require that much more effort to really have some great positive effects.
And not just physical. It's exercise is a powerful antidepressant.
Yep.
So if
It
you
helps
feel
to burn fat, so that will reduce that waist size thing, which was his first point, right?
sure.
So, and it's good for the brain.
When so my primary exercise is walking. I walk
Mm.
a lot.
And walking's great.
Walking is very good, and I do track it with my watch, and it
Mhm.
tells me all the metrics around my walking, and it tells me when I'm in aerobic level heart rates and anaerobic level heart rates. It's it's a good way to challenge yourself if
Mm.
you're not motivated other ways.
Right.
It
Right.
it it puts some numbers around it. You can say, "Oh, I can do
Yeah.
better. I can do
Yeah.
better."
Yeah, metrics. And then you can also, what's nice is that you can track your improvement,
Exactly.
right?
My mile rate that I go, how long it takes me to walk a mile, has improved dramatically since I started walking several years. I really started walking, I'd say during pandemic.
Yeah.
I did not have a good pace.
Yeah. I used to walk every day in a hilly
Hmm.
area. 45 minutes, 3 miles.
Okay,
So 15-minute miles, which was a good pace
that is a good pace.
every day, all year long. Didn't matter if it was raining. I don't do that anymore, but I do different stuff. But yeah, that was probably really healthy of me at the time.
All right, you get the next topic
Oh,
because
no.
because
No, because you're not going to be able to say it, are you?
yes, I am.
What's the next one?
Go easy on the alcohol.
Yeah, you're always like, "Oh, no, that's not there." No, I hear that it's healthy for you. Well,
It was just
he
I want to
doesn't.
correct I want to make the record clear here. I don't drink every day. But I do enjoy an occasional glass of wine, an occasional cocktail, an occasional beer. I enjoy it
Right. Well,
in moderation.
studies suggest it's not good for longevity, and even small doses increase the risk of cancer.
But without alcohol, do you want the longevity? I mean, really?
Yes.
It's
Oh,
easier to tolerate things with the alcohol.
so basically says, look, just make it occasional, like a treat,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. And
And even if you can avoid that,
sure,
right? So, you know.
I would consider that rather than a rule, I would consider that a rule of thumb.
You know what
It's
he
a
doesn't talk
guideline.
about? What about medical marijuana and all? Can you do that instead?
He doesn't
Can you
talk
do
about it.
gummies
He
instead?
doesn't talk about that. We,
It's
we,
legal now.
in some places, not everywhere.
Oh, that's true.
Not everywhere.
Yeah. So
Uh,
this one I found interesting.
I actually do this.
Well, this is interesting because the science behind it, of course, I always find the science fascinating, is when you eat, the calories get transformed into glucose or insulin. So people end up when they're snacking, they're having big meals, they have constant high insulin for many hours in a day. And that triggers pro-aging pathways.
Hmm.
So what he's saying is you should try to eat your calories within a 10-hour window,
Okay.
which is what they call intermittent fasting, right? You're fasting
Yes.
for 14 hours.
Correct.
I guess if you're sleeping for what, 7 to 9 of those, now you're down to not eating
Hmm.
for 5 hours, maybe 5, 6 hours, depending on how long you've slept. And I've always heard that you shouldn't go to bed until after 4 hours after eating. So there's four right there.
Hmm.
And then so now you're waiting like 1 hour or two
I
before
was
you eat
I
breakfast.
was told there would be no math involved.
That doesn't seem, when you break it down that way, it doesn't seem impossible.
It's not impossible. I've done it. We haven't talked about this in a long time, but several years ago, I lost 30 pounds, and I did it. It didn't change anything other than increase my walking and intermittent fasting. I didn't change what I ate. I didn't change what I drank, and I don't know if I would get to 10 hours of consumption, but I would try to not eat after 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would get up in the morning and not eat for maybe the first hour or so when I got up. So I was probably fasting for 12
Well,
to 13 hours.
yeah.
And it didn't come off right away. The weight did not come off right away. But when it started coming off, it was noticeable.
Yeah. Well, and you can actually have water. You can have,
Hmm.
it's just you don't want to introduce any calories in the morning.
Correct.
So you can actually have a cup of black coffee,
Correct.
but no cream, no half and
Mm,
half, which, I like in mine. So again, I guess it's doable. Or maybe have a cup of green tea. That would even be better, right? Because that's really good for you.
hmm.
Green tea.
And it does have caffeine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which I found out the hard way a few years ago. Having a cup
Oh,
of green tea.
really?
Now, it's just,
Oh, yeah. It has actually more, I think it has like more caffeine.
it depends on the coffee that you have.
Yeah.
Do you know that most darker roast coffees have less caffeine than lighter roast?
I did not know that.
Yes.
I drink dark roast.
It's less caffeine generally. It's not
Mm,
it's not a hard and fast rule, but
right.
generally. All right, what's are we on the last rule?
Yeah,
The
I
7
guess.
rules?
Yeah, I think so. We're on the
Okay.
last row.
And this one's kind of fun. He says think of your body as a Ferrari. You have to maintain. You can't just
Right.
I know people who will say, "Oh, well, I'll be good all week and then on the weekend I splurge."
Mm,
Is that is I don't know if that works out.
right. Yeah.
Uh,
So basically your body is a Ferrari and you're going to need to oil it. You're going to need to take care of it. So, yeah, back to your body as a temple. But if you want to live a long, long life, then, these habits are worth changing.
they are. Okay. Did we bust the myth?
I certainly hope
The
so.
myth being that
That
it's
it's
all
not
genetics.
it's not all genetics. In
Right.
fact, most of it's not genetics, especially in the first 7 or 8 decades of your life.
Yeah. That's a long time.
It
All
is a
right.
long time. So there's still hope for us. We still have time to get it right.
I
Okay, we're done. Let's go have a glass of wine
I
now.
think for the most part that I do it pretty well. I do it.
Yeah, I think I have a pretty healthy diet.
Mhm.
I do
Except for my
exercise.
ice cream and chips.
Yeah, I mean,
I put some chips on ice cream recently.
I eat dark chocolate, but I've heard that dark chocolate's good for you.
There are pluses and minuses.
Right,
We've read that people that live in the blue zones have a
right,
little bit of red wine. Dr. Fontana would disagree.
right. But it may have been more about the social context of that. Like you can
Could
go and
be.
have a social hour at 5 o'clock.
Hmm.
You could be drinking water and still feel the benefits of the social context of that.
Yeah, but not as good.
Okay, Joe, you can still have your wine.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I think we busted the myth that it's all about genetics. So follow the 7 rules as closely as you can.
Yep. And live a nice, healthy, long lifestyle.
All right, that's it for this week. Like, share, subscribe, do all those things that help the algorithm bring.
Yeah, we'd like to reach more people.
We would.
Yeah.
So like, share, subscribe, comment on Spotify, and thanks for listening.
Bye.